She betrayed you. She replaced you. But what if you could make them regret it and watch them crawl back without even saying a word? She cut you off. She walked away. She acted like you never mattered. The humiliation. The burning question, why me? If you stay on this path, hurt, chasing, reacting, you lose not just your dignity, but your future. This video will arm you with cold, hard truth and the tools to flip this betrayal into your greatest strength. Comment: no more betrayals right now if you're ready to reclaim your life. By the end, you'll see betrayal not as defeat, but as the fuel for your transformation. Number 1. See her motive. Understand exactly why she betrayed you. It wasn't about you, it was about her. Her fear, insecurity, boredom, sense of entitlement drove her to walk away. She judged your loyalty as weakness, your patience as permission, your kindness as guaranteed return. She believed you would always bend back, so she tested your limits. She believed the cost of betraying you was nothing, because in her mind you were replaceable. That assumption is her mistake, not yours. She sees your presence as a given and uses you until she tires of you. That makes her choices predictable. When you see her motive, you stop chasing illusions. You stop trying to find closure in her explanations. You stop begging for truth from someone who lies by default. You claim clarity. You know she abandoned you not because you lacked value, but because her emptiness demanded a sacrifice. She needed someone to abandon. She craved drama, validation, unpredictability. She betrayed you to feel power. She replaced you to test gravity. When you seize insight into her motives, you shift from victim to observer. You hold your ground while she unravels her own decisions. You act from strength, not reaction. You no longer run after her stories or her partial truths. You rewrite your own narrative. You refuse to waste energy trying to decode every lie she tells you. You discern patterns instead. When she distances, when she flirts, when she re-emerges at your weakest point. Those patterns tell you more than she ever will. You refuse to be fooled twice. You resolve to operate by principles instead of emotions, silence, self-restraint, growth. You observe your triggers when longing hits, when anger erupts, and you sit with them. You don't act, you harness them. You convert betrayal into fuel. You channel that energy into habits, discipline, goals she can never take away. You unbreak your frame, your mind, your spirit, your vision. You rebuild identity that no person can remove. You adopt a mindset where her betrayal becomes an indicator of her own failure, not yours. You walk forward with your head high, unapologetic, uncompromised. You see her motive, you understand her failings, and you let that knowledge be your shield. And when you finally understand her motive, not through anger, but through clarity, you unlock a new level of peace. That's where your real transformation begins. And if you're ready to go deeper, to rebuild from the core, to take this power and apply it to every part of your life, the Stoic relationship blueprint is now yours to claim. This isn't just a book, it's a weapon, a guide filled with timeless Stoic principles designed specifically for men who've been betrayed, replaced, or broken and want to rise. It's now available in audiobook format, so you can absorb its life-changing insights while you walk, jog, train, or drive. Imagine rewiring your entire mindset step by step, while you're out moving, healing, rebuilding. And once it's yours forever. No subscriptions, just you, your headphones, and every page designed to sharpen your clarity, reclaim your strength, and rebuild your identity. The link is in the comments. Secure your copy and own this knowledge for life. Number 2, calm your mind. You want to scream. You want to smash your phone, send 10 texts, show her what she lost, prove she made a mistake. But you don't. You stop. You feel the pull in your chest to act, to react, to remind her of your worth. But you don't move. This is where power begins. In the silence, in the resistance, in the decision to not give her the reaction she expects. You realize she expects you to break down, to spiral, to become emotional and validate her ego. But instead, you choose stillness. You begin the process of regaining control, not just over your emotions, but over your focus, your daily habits, your time, your energy. Every time she crosses your mind, every moment you feel the ache in your chest, you don't run from it. You look directly at it and you say, "This will not own me." You take that raw pain and redirect it. You grab a notebook, write down your thoughts with brutal honesty. No filters, no pride, no ego. You bleed truth onto the page because it clears your head faster than a response ever will. You understand that your mind is your fortress, and every time you feed her with attention, memories, imaginary conversations, you weaken your defenses. But when you sit with the discomfort and you don't act on it, you begin to master yourself. That's Stoicism in practice, not reacting out of impulse, not being led by emotion, but letting emotion sharpen your edge. You go for a walk, not to forget her, but to remember yourself. You hit the gym, not to impress her, but to keep promises to your future self. You disconnect from her social media, not to punish her, but to cleanse your space from delusions. You install systems, you keep your room clean, you prepare your meals, you track your habits. You create order in your environment because it quiets your chaos. You begin to speak less, observe more, and act only on principle. You journal every day. What am I thinking? What did I allow into my head today? Did I move forward or backward? You build an internal discipline that becomes unshakable because you know without it, she still has power over you. You breathe through the pain, but you don't let it own you. You use it. You mold it. You sit alone without fear. You build a mind so powerful that no betrayal can collapse it. You become a man who acts only when he decides, not when he feels weak or emotional or vengeful. And that kind of control, that's what makes her fear the version of you she left behind. She expected you to collapse. Instead, you built something unbreakable. Number 3, raise your value. She thought she could do better. She believed she traded up. She saw you as the past and someone else as her future. Let her think that. Your job now is not to convince her otherwise with words or arguments or explanations. Your job now is to become undeniable. You raise your value in every way that matters, physically, mentally, socially, financially, not to win her back, but to build a life so elevated she can't breathe the air where you stand. You start by treating yourself like a project. What needs work? Your body. Start moving it. Every single day. You hit the gym, you walk, you train, not for aesthetics, but for discipline, strength, presence. You look better, you feel sharper, and people begin to notice. But more than that, you begin to respect yourself again. You study, books, podcasts, financial literacy, business. You start learning the skills that make you dangerous in the marketplace. You stop consuming and you begin building. You work on your finances, not to flex, but to give yourself freedom. You open another stream of income. You take courses. You build structure. You stop chasing women and start attracting value. She left because she thought the next man had more. Maybe he looked exciting, fun, mysterious. But you become the man who doesn't have to shout. You walk into a room and people feel your presence. You don't need validation because you're too busy validating yourself every single day. You build a network. You talk to people who are 10 steps ahead of you, who make you feel small in the best way, because that tension forces you to grow. You become socially sharp. Your words have weight. Your body language commands respect. Your schedule is full, your goals are clear. You no longer have time to explain yourself to people who dismissed your worth. You surround yourself with those who see it instantly, and as your value increases, she starts to watch, quietly, secretly, through other people, through digital windows, through silence. She sees that the man she discarded is now the man others admire, respect, even desire. She'll question her decision. She'll remember your loyalty, your energy, your presence, and she'll realize that what she lost wasn't a placeholder, it was a foundation. But by the time she realizes that, you've already risen so far that the idea of going back feels like trading gold for dust. Action becomes your voice. Results become your revenge. Growth becomes your shield. You never beg. You evolve. You make regret the only language she understands. And you do it all without a single word because your results scream louder than any apology ever could. Number 4. Stop chasing her. Every message you want to send, every story you want to watch, every post you want to like, it all bleeds your power away. The moment you chase, you confirm her belief that she can discard you and you'll come running, that she can betray you and still rent space in your head for free. But now, you stop, completely. No more chasing, no more reacting, no more trying to prove your worth to someone who already chose to walk away. You disconnect, not to get a reaction, but to remove her influence. You don't block her to make a statement. You disappear because she no longer deserves access. You don't explain. You don't argue. You don't send closure texts. You don't hope she understands. Because chasing is always about validation, and the moment you need it, you lose control. Think back. How many times did she test you, disappear, pull away just to see if you'd reach? And how many times did you deliver exactly what she expected? Not anymore. You stop feeding her ego with your attention. You become a ghost, not for spite, but for self-respect. She must feel your absence like oxygen leaving the room. You are not an option. You are not a backup. You are not an emotional support system when her new fling fails. The man who chases is the man who loses. The man who vanishes is the man she reconsiders. But you don't disappear to be missed. You disappear to be reborn. You give her nothing. No status check-ins. No reminders of your value, no signs of weakness. You make her question her decision in silence. You let your absence ask questions she never thought she'd answer. What if he moved on? What if I was wrong? What if that really was my last chance? You don't chase because your time, energy, and peace are too expensive, and you start using that energy on yourself, on building a body she doesn't recognize, on building income she never believed you could reach, on building a presence she can't replace. You don't announce anything. You become so immersed in your own journey that her chapter fades like old noise. And if she ever dares return, you don't react with desperation. You react with strength. You decide, because the man who stops chasing becomes the man she can never control again. Number 5. Focus on yourself silently. You're not trying to impress her. You're not trying to show off. You're not out here documenting your healing just so she notices. That's weakness dressed as growth. That's attention-seeking. But this is different. You wake up early not to post it, but because you've made a commitment to yourself. You hit the gym not to post mirror selfies, but because every rep silences the voices that once doubted you. You eat better, sleep better, move differently, not for her, but because your life deserves order. You stop arguing with people who don't matter. You stop defending yourself to those who don't deserve access. You stop proving anything. Your presence begins to speak louder than your explanations. You move through the world quietly, efficiently, with purpose. You enter rooms differently. People sense a shift. They can't explain it, but they feel it, and so does she. She'll hear about you before she sees you. She'll scroll and wonder why you're not watching. She'll remember you in silence, not because you chased, but because you vanished and elevated. And in that silence, you rebuild everything, not out of revenge, but out of requirement. You stop spending time with people who drain you. You start investing in conversations that challenge you. You write your goals down, not in your head, but on paper. You break them into tiny steps. You execute one thing at a time every single day. You focus on your routine like your life depends on it, because it does. You detach from outcomes. You don't care if she notices. You don't care who's watching. You're building something bigger. Your world becomes sacred. You protect it from noise. You don't post your pain. You don't share your process. You just rise. And when she finally hears about what you've become, she won't see the man she left. She'll see someone who outgrew her completely, someone who no longer belongs to her past. You'll be surrounded by new energy, new people, new standards. And by the time she wants to understand the version of you that never needed to speak, it'll be too late, because you didn't just move on, you transcended, quietly, relentlessly, permanently. Number 6. Watch her come crawling back. It starts quietly, a view on your story, a like on a random post, a message that says nothing but speaks volumes. Hey, how've you been? She wants to check if the door's still open. She wants to see if you're still the man who waited, who begged, who hoped. But this time, you're not. This time, the man she left is gone. In his place stands someone she no longer understands. You didn't shout. You didn't announce your growth. You built in silence, and now your life speaks for you. She begins to realize that the grass wasn't greener. It was fake, temporary, hollow. The attention, the excitement, the newness. It faded, and now she's remembering the one man who truly saw her, stood by her, gave without taking. But she also remembers the betrayal, the replacement, the silence that followed. You've changed. You don't react. You don't respond right away. Because she's no longer a priority, she's an interruption. You read the message and wait, not to play games, but because now your time is filled with purpose. She thought you'd break when she left. She thought your life would spiral, but instead, you rebuilt everything she abandoned, and now she wants access to the kingdom she walked out of. But here's the truth. She doesn't deserve to come back just because she regrets leaving. Regret is not a ticket to return. You've grown. You've healed. You've learned to live without her. You're surrounded by better energy, more aligned relationships, a higher standard of living, and more importantly, a higher standard for yourself. She sees it. She feels it, and it burns. Not because you flaunted it, but because she knows she's no longer needed, no longer wanted, no longer relevant. The man she thought was beneath her now operates in a realm she can't access. So yes, she comes crawling back. But you don't see it as victory. You see it as validation of your growth. You don't respond to feed your ego. You respond, if at all, to maintain your peace. She lost you at the version you once were. She's reaching for a ghost. And by the time she realizes what she really lost, you've already stepped into a life so rich, so full, so powerful, that her return is just noise in the distance. You watch her come crawling back, and you feel nothing. Not because you're bitter, but because you've finally become everything you were always meant to be, without needing her at all. If you've felt betrayed, if you've watched her walk away like you never mattered, and you're ready to never feel that powerless again, then this moment is yours. Society wants you emotional, lost, confused, chasing women who treat you like options. Because a man with clarity, discipline, and stoic control is dangerous. The stoic relationship blueprint is your weapon against the lies you've been fed. It's filled with timeless stoic principles that will rewire how you think about women, pain, relationships, and your own power. And it's now in audiobook format, so you can listen while you walk, train, grind, and rebuild. You'll never see betrayal the same again. It's linked in the comments. Own it once, and it's yours forever. No one can take it. Comment, "I reclaim my power" below if you're ready to grab it. Like this video, subscribe, and help save another man years of regret.